Hello everyone, this is Sherwin here from TechOS, and in today's video I'm going to be taking a look at the iPhone 6s Plus and giving you my full review of the device now that I've been using it for a full month and have been able to properly use the features within daily life. Now in this video I'm going to go through the main features of it and also talk about what it's been like using it for the past few weeks and whether or not it's worth upgrading to. So firstly I want to talk about the pricing and configurations that it comes in. So it starts at £619 or $749 for a 16GB model. You can get a 64GB model for £699 or $849, or you can push it up right to 128GB like I've done here, and that brings the price up to £789 or $949. Now the new iPhone is available in gold, silver, as well as space grey, and the new rose gold, which Apple have just introduced to the iPhone lineup this year. Although advertised as rose gold, the new colour is more of a pinky type colour, so may appeal to more female users. So now let's take a look at the design, which is mostly unchanged from the previous generation iPhone 6 and 6 Plus. Now the new device is slightly thicker than the previous models and also very slightly heavier. Now I haven't actually owned the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus, however I have been to Apple stores and held both the devices next to each other, and the weight difference is noticeable but only very slightly. But it's still thinner than something like the iPhone 5S, which is what I've upgraded from. You'll find the protruding camera lens on the back, however this may not be that much of a problem, as the device will only ever rock slightly when pushed in the top left corner. The camera is coated in sapphire crystal, so you don't need to worry about scratching it, and of course if you do decide to put a case on it, then any of these problems of the iPhone rocking will disappear. This new iPhone has been crafted with 7000 series aluminium, which should result in a stronger, more robust device than last year, fixing the over-exaggerated bend gate. Now inside you'll find the new A9 chip, which is powering the device. Now Apple claims that it's up to 1.8 times faster at CPU tasks than the previous iPhone 6, which contained the A8 chip, and the graphics performance has also been improved, especially when playing very graphically intensive games. Now there's also 2GB of RAM, which has speed up app opening times and reduced the number of times Safari tabs have to refresh. Now I'm going to move on to the next main feature of the iPhone 6s Plus, which is 3D Touch. Now 3D Touch is not a rebranded version of Force Touch, which is a technology we've seen on devices like the Apple Watch and the MacBooks, because unlike Force Touch, which senses one level of pressure, 3D Touch can actually sense multiple levels of pressure, making it a lot more precise and accurate than Force Touch. Now 3D Touch can be activated in a variety of different ways by applying pressure on the screen. Now there are two parts to a 3D Touch gesture, a peek and a pop. To peek, press down lightly on the item, for example an email, to open a small preview of it. Whilst peeking, you can release your pressure to exit the preview. To then go on and pop into the content from a peek, continue to press harder and you'll essentially be able to open it. Also, when you're peeking, you can take further action on an item by swiping up to carry out contextual actions, such as for an email, reply or forward the email to someone else. You can also preview any web links, map locations, and even flight numbers in the same way. So for example, with flight numbers you can view departure times and landing times. This feature can also be used in other apps like Messages to preview conversations and also in Photos to preview your photos. Now the second way of using 3D Touch is related to the home screen and your app icon. And what this allows you to do is to press on an app icon on your home screen to bring up contextual options for that app. For example, I can lightly press on the camera app to choose between the back camera, the front facing camera, the slow motion camera or just the standard video camera. Now this is there to save time so you can do things more quickly. Now at the moment Peek and Pop as well as the home screen menus are limited to some Apple apps. However, some third-party developers such as Instagram and Tweetbot have already incorporated this into their apps. Now, for using Tweetbot as an example, you can interact with the app from the home screen to compose a new tweet, and then once you're in the app you can use Peek and Pop to navigate through images, web links, and look at tweets. Now, you can also use 3D Touch to open your multitasking menu by pressing down at the edge of the display and then swiping in to reveal your recent apps. Now you can also switch back to your previously used app by pressing at the edge of the display and swiping all the way across. Now if you want to look at more Force Touch, you can check out my video in the top right hand corner to see all about it. Now the next new feature of the iPhone 6s Plus is the new camera. Now the camera on the iPhone 6s Plus is now a 12 megapixel sensor as opposed to the 8 megapixel one on the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus. The new camera also gains features such as video recording in 4K and a new feature called Live Photos, which I'll go through in just a moment. Now, photos look even better with more detail on every shot, and colours tend to be more vibrant, and the camera also focuses much more quickly than before. With the 4K video capabilities, video looks even sharper, and obviously it's a nice feature to have, especially if you take a lot of video on your iPhone. Now obviously 4K video does take up quite a lot of space, and because of this it's actually disabled by default. However, you can enable it by going into settings, scrolling down and tapping on photos and camera, and then scrolling again to visit the video recording section, and then just tap on the 4K option, making sure that it's ticked. Now in terms of storage, Apple says that approximately 375 megabytes of storage will be taken up when recording a minute of 4K video. Now the new Live Photos feature is there to add more life to your pictures. This is activated by default, unlike 4K video recording. However, it doesn't really take up that much more storage than a normal photo would. You can toggle it on or off within the camera app itself, so if you don't want to use it, then you can do it like that. Now, when you release the shutter, the iPhone will capture 1.5 seconds before the photo was taken and 1.5 seconds after the photo was taken. And what you can actually do is 3D touch on that photo when you're in your camera roll, and the iPhone will start playing back that 1.5 seconds before and after to you, hence the name Live Photos. So you can also set a live photo as your lock screen wallpaper, and if you visit your lock screen you can actually press down on the display, causing the live photo to start moving just like it would in your photo library. So this is a nice feature that Apple have added. So Live Photos is a nice feature to have. However, I do think that it will take a while for most people to get used to it and actually get into the habit of remembering that it's there. So now moving on to the next feature, I'm going to talk about Touch ID now. With the new iPhone you do get twice as fast Touch ID, as I did demo in my video that I did, so check the top right hand corner of the screen now to visit that video. Now the functionality of Touch ID is the same, however you can now unlock your iPhone twice as fast. Now as usual you can use your iPhone for Apple Pay, unlocking your iPhone and using iTunes purchases and within other third-party apps. Now you are still limited to registering up to 5 fingerprints, but the fingerprint scanner is a very, very fast one, and I often find myself not being able to view my notifications as it's that fast. Now whilst using the phone during daily life, I'm actually surprised at how much I use features like 3D Touch and Live Photos, and I definitely couldn't go back to an iPhone without it. The Live Photos feature has made me use the camera a lot more than I would do before, and also the battery life is certainly very good and much better than the iPhone 5s, which as I said before is what I've been switching from. So is it worth the upgrade? Well, I would advise that if you have an iPhone 6 or 6 Plus, that you stick with that for another 12 months, unless of course you need the better camera or 3D Touch. In that case you might want to upgrade. If you're on a 12-month contract with the iPhone 6, then do upgrade to this device, and certainly if you're like me and are transitioning from an iPhone 5s or earlier, then you'll be upgrading to a lot more speed and performance, a better camera, and it's generally worth the upgrade. But anyway, that's it for this review video. If you have any questions, do submit them as a comment, and if you wish to see any other videos on the iPhone 6s Plus, do again comment down below, or you can get in contact with me using the details that will be in the description of the video. Don't forget to like this video by hitting that thumbs up button, and be sure to subscribe to the channel to be notified of any new videos that come out. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.